Hi everyone, I am Dr. P. Umayeshwari, Associate Professor, Department of Computer Science and Business Systems, RMK Engineering College. Subject name Web Development Frameworks for the students, 2nd CSBS, 4th semester. Topic Controlled versus Uncontrolled Components in React. Unit 3. This presentation explores the concept of controlled and uncontrolled components in React.js, highlighting their definitions and differences. Introduction to React Components definition. In React, components are reusable pieces of code that represent sections of the user interface. Types of components. There are two main types, controlled and uncontrolled components. Importance of understanding components. Understanding the difference is crucial for effective React development. Controlled components definition. Controlled components are form elements whose data is managed by the component state in React with values set through state and updates handled via callbacks. Form validation. Controlled components simplify input validation because React manages the state, making implementation and control more straightforward. Single source of truth. A controlled component state is aligned with the component state, ensuring consistent and predictable form behavior. Understanding controlled components. This React program is a simple example of a controlled component where the form input is managed by the component state. First line, import React useState from React. React and the useState hook are imported. useState is used to create a state variable. Next line, const name set name, and then which is equivalent to useState double quotes, empty double quotes. Here the input field is controlled by the React state, and then set name is a function to update the name, and the name holds the current value of the input field. And then next we are having set name e.target.value. Here it updates the state whenever the user types something. Next paragraph, your name is within the curly brace name. Here displays the current value of the name dynamically as the user types. This is a control component because the input value is controlled by the React via the useState hook. Any changes to the input go through the state by using the set name, ensuring consistent and predictable behavior. So we are getting whatever we are typing on the input box Jamuna like this, that value will be reflected in the output. Your name is Jamuna. Uncontrolled components definition. Uncontrolled components treat form data as a normal document object model element, meaning the data is handled by the DOM itself rather than by the React state. Use of refs. To access values, uncontrolled components utilize refs, providing a direct way to interact with the document object model elements after the component has been rendered. Less boilerplate code. They tend to record less code since you have to write state handling for each input, which can be a simpler approach in certain use cases. Uncontrolled component. This program is an example of an uncontrolled component in React where the form input is not managed by React state but instead directly accessed by a ref. Import React useRef from React. Imports React and the useRef hook. useRef is used to directly reference a document object model element. The next line, constant nameref is equivalent to useRef. Nameref is a reference object that will point to the input document object model. It is used to read the input value without storing it in state. This line, input type which is equivalent to text ref nameref. This input is uncontrolled. Its value is not connected to any React state. Instead, it is linked to nameref, which gives access to the current value. See here constant handle click. Inside this function, we are having alert. When the button is clicked, it shows an alert with the current value of the input. This value is read directly from the document object model using the ref. Here, button on click, handle click, show name. It triggers handle click displaying the input value. So you type the value in the input box. You can able to see the output in the alert window. Input is not managed by the React state. Use ref to access document object model directly. This is an uncontrolled component. Differences between controlled and uncontrolled components. State management. Controlled components use React state for managing values, while uncontrolled components rely on the document object model for data storage. Simplicity versus controlled. Controlled components provide higher control and easier validation, while uncontrolled components may be simpler for quick setups. Performance consideration. Controlled components may introduce some performance overhead due to frequent state updates, whereas uncontrolled components can be more efficient in some cases. Interaction with events. In controlled components, all interaction modify the state. In the unmanaged components, changes happen directly on the DOM without React's intervention. Use cases and when to use. Controlled components. It is best for scenarios needing immediate feedback, validation, and dynamic rendering like login or registration forms. Uncontrolled components. It is best for simple tasks or when using state makes things harder. Mixing both approaches. Combining both types can optimize input handling by using controlled for critical fields and uncontrolled for others. Best practices. Understanding context and purpose helps in choosing the right component type of optimal performance. Best practices for controlled components. Keep the state minimal. Only store necessary data in state to maintain performance and simplicity. Debounce user input. Implement debouncing for instant validation to implement user interface responsiveness. Use local state efficiency. Manage form data locally when possible to reduce unnecessary re-renders. Clear feedback mechanisms. Provide clear user feedback mechanisms to enhance interaction quality. Best practices for uncontrolled components. Use refs judiciously. Limit the use of refs to instances requiring direct document object model access. Combine with controlled components. Efficient when used alongside controlled components for data validation. Avoid complexity. Keep structure simple by limiting uncontrolled inputs. Manage form submission. Use refs efficiently to validate data before submission. Thank you.